Ramaphosa signs the Bella bill. So many reaction. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to share with you a lot of them. DA responded. Sadtu responded. Mzansi, Arise Mzansi responded. Good Part responded. Hey man, there's so many reaction. Figel Balol responded. Whew, Jehovah. If I miss something, I'll definitely have to come back. Let's start with Sadtu. And the reason we start with Sadtu is because these are the people who said they are going to take the president to court if the president does not sign the Bella bill by January. The Bella bill was supposed, the due date was on the 13th of December. Yes, but the president did not live up to the expectation. So they promised that they were going to take him. On the 20th of December 2024, Sadtu released a media statement. Sadtu welcomed the Ramaphosa's announcement of the full implementation of the Bella Bill Act. The South African Democratic Teachers Union, Sadtu, expresses its relief and gratitude following the President Ramaphosa's announcement regarding the full implementation of the Bella Bill Act. Our voice have finally been heard, says Elog. Then they said, we are happy that the attempt of the right-wing formation to manipulate the law for the benefit of the select few were unsuccessful. The integrity of the act has been preserved, ensuring it serves the educational needs of our learners. The act empowers provincial education department, the authority to determine school language and admission policies. Bodies have previously used these policies to unjustly exclude learners from schools. They say, from the onset, we argued that there was no justification for delaying the implementation of Clause 4 and 5 for further consultation, as this undermines the wide-ranging legitimate process conducted over many years in which all the parties in the Government of National Unity, GNU, participated. The bill was passed with overwhelming support in both the National Assembly and the National Council of Provinces. Okay. The act represents the collective will and desire of the majority to transform our basic education system from an apartheid design to democratic value-based system that ensure every child's right to access equality public education. They say we can confirm that the norms and the standard are in place, and will be adjusted to align with the act. The full implementation of the Bella Bill will further assure the right of every child to access education which enrich our constitution. Sadtu. Right. And I said that I was going to start with them because they are the ones who basically were shouting and making the loudest, and they were willing to take the president to the court. They were willing to open a case against the president. Okay, I am willing not to open a case against you, provided you do this, in fact. If you are not yet subscribed, what are you waiting for? Come on, good people, because to subscribe it is free, to like the video it is free, to comment in the comment section below it is free of charge, to click the notification bell it is free of charge, to share this video it is free of charge, to watch this video until the end it is free of charge. Also, good people, come on, to watch the ads, it's free of charge, and that's how you financially contribute to this YouTube channel. Speaking about financially contribution to the channel, you can become a member of this YouTube channel from as little as 20 Rand a month. You can also use the Super Thanks button. In case you don't want to do that, guys, there is a way where you can use my media company banking details to donate to the channel. And you know what I'm saying? We'll bring you more, and also guys want to buy more equipment. So the power is in your hands. Please do the honorable thing as we proceed. Kwarube, DA minister, have also confirmed that she will comply. Do you want to hear what she says? It is important. So she says, no, don't worry guys, I will definitely comply with the dictates and the commands thereon. So please, I don't represent you. I don't represent DA. I don't represent any political party here, but I represent none other than, she says with her own mouth, that I represent you guys. Take a look at what she said. Here.
This department is not going to be the battleground for policy and politics. This department has to focus on its core business. I'm not the minister of the DA. I'm the minister of basic education, and I want to assure not only the people in the department, not only the teachers out there, I want to assure the parents that mine is not to come here and play politics with the future of the children.
Before we talk about Helen Zille, before we talk about ANC, which responded, let's go and look at the Mzansi. It's called what? Arise Mzansi. They released a statement. Then I'm going to give you Goku Helen Zille responding to this. The 20th of December 2024 released immediately. Arise Mzansi welcomed the announcement by President Ramaphosa stating that the Basic Education Law Amendment Bella Bill Act will be implemented fully without amendments. This decision highlights aligns with Arise Mzansi along a long-held view that law passes legal muster and that any contestation to the Bila Act will be put before the courts. Okay, they are saying then the law is vital piece of legislation that, if implemented properly with sincerity, it will go far in furthering access to basic education for all South Africans, regardless of race, class, or locality. Right, then they say, what is now of importance and agency is for the Minister of Education, Siviwe Gwarube, to formulate the relevant norms, standard, and guidelines. What is of particular interest to Arise Mzansi is how compulsory grade R learning will be founded and how the penalties will be applied in the case where parents and guidance do not enroll their children for grade R. With all the parties that forms part of the Government of National Unity agreeing to the full end in the implementation of the BLPL, Arise Mzansi trust that we will at all sing from the same hymn sheet when briefing our constituency on the role of the law. Okay? They are saying. Moreover, it is unfortunate that some parties, stakeholders, sought to contaminate the legislation through misinformation, disinformation, and in order to advance their own narrow interest. Now let's listen to ETA being interviewed on this matter. Goku Helen Zille, this is what she said.
That statement needs to be read carefully because there are two parts to it. One is that the Bella Act will be implemented in its entirety. The other part is that Siviwe Gwarube, the Minister of Basic Education, first has to draw up norms, standards, and regulations to govern the implementation of the contentious sections. That is Section 4, D, E, and F, and Section 5A and C. So the President has signed the entire Act into law, and we're aware of that, and that was an agreement that came out of the clearinghouse mechanism and out of the task team that reports to the clearinghouse mechanism. But the important point is that Minister Siviwe Gwarube gets to ensure that the norms, standards, and regulations are there before those sections are implemented.
And I was in conversation with Sadtu a little earlier on, and I brought this point to them. And Nomusa was saying that for her, it's not a big deal because everything should be there in any case, and it doesn't mean that there'll be some delays. Is that your understanding as well?
There will be some delays, obviously, because of the fact that it takes time to formulate norms and standards and regulations. It takes a lot of time. There's a legal process that you have to go through. It involves public participation. It involves a whole range of issues. So Siviwe Gwarube will go through the legal process properly, step by step, and will get those norms, standards, and regulations in place so that the contentious aspects of the bill can be implemented within that framework.
So did the clearinghouse agree on how much time this could take?
No, they didn't. Not at all. It normally takes about 18 months to finalize these norms and standards and regulations following the process as it's intended to be followed in law.
So you had expressed some concerns, of course, about this particular bill, even, campaigning during the elections, but also afterwards and in recent times as well, also speaking about the issue of Afrikaans, for example, and looking at the president's statement, he says that every person has the right to receive education in their official language and their language of the choice where reasonably practicable. And he then lists, of course, the number of languages. They have those concerns for you been addressed?
Well, PANSELB has existed for close on 30 years, and the question to ask is, what have they done in terms of their mandate to make mother tongue education accessible to more and more children? The Afrikaans community has done a lot to ensure mother tongue education for their children. The deaf community has done an enormous amount to ensure that sign language instruction can be given and that they can learn all their subjects through the medium of sign language so that it becomes a language of instruction. The question is, what has happened with the other languages? They've been totally neglected by PANSELB, and that is where the focus now needs to be.
So what does that mean then? Does it mean it's not over for the Democratic Alliance on this particular issue?
Well, nothing's ever over. I mean, we will continue to fight for democracy and for the Constitution forever. And the bottom line is that we agreed in the clearinghouse mechanism, in the task team that reported to the clearinghouse mechanism, we agreed that eventually the full Bella Act will be implemented. Mm-hmm. When the norms, standards and regulations governing sections 4, D, E and F and 5A and C are in place. So that is the agreement.
So Helen, can I then maybe say, just tell me if I'm interpreting your position correctly here. You are saying we're backing you on condition that this process that needs to be done is done correctly. Is that my understanding?
Correct.
So what happens then? Let's say 18 months comes and the process is not complete and things aren't done. Has the clearing committee, the clearinghouse rather, did they discuss what does this mean then for this access that the president is talking about in his statement?
No, we did not discuss that in the clearinghouse because it's not up to the clearinghouse. It's up to Minister Gwahube to determine how long that takes to do it properly and according to the law.
But ultimately, it may not be up to the clearinghouse, but up to her. But these are political parties who hold different views on this particular matter. So if it does happen that she reaches that point and you're not happy, you are not going to be silent. So it means that we may find ourselves here again.
Well, we may certainly find ourselves here again on any specific day, but the president has seen fit to trust Siviwe Gwahube to put together those regulations, those norms and standards, and to make sure that she finishes them in a reasonable time frame. And we have a lot of confidence in Siviwe Gwahube to do that.
Okay, after Ugogo Helen Zille, now we'll come back. I still have more videos to share with you. Good Party also responded. I've shared the MK Party, don't worry. Now we are with a Good Party. Good Party responded and said the following. Okay, just give me a moment. I don't know what's going on. Yes, there we go. On the 20th of December, they say, win for children as President signed Bella Bella Act. The Good Party welcomes President Ramaphosa signing the Basic Education Law Amendment Act into law today without watering it down to the appears right-wing formation intent to defending some imaginary attack on African-speaking children from cultural integration. They're saying, as noted in a Good Party statement issued on Tuesday, while the DA Helen Zille was timing the act revenge project against Africans, her own party was already implementing its provision in Taliba in the Western Cape. The reason her party was implementing the act in Halipa and localities because it made sense to accommodate more children at whole school, which has capacity to spare, rather than increase overcrowding at Lungisa Zetu Secondary School. The appropriate arrangement will be made to facilitate an English language stream at this Afrikaner school. Okay, we get it. Thank you very much, good party. Goodbye. Thank you for your shared view on the matter. We need to move now. We need to look at what Figile Mbalula, speaking about that, the ANC welcomed the decision of Ramaphosa to sign this Bila Act. You know what I'm saying? You know how it goes. We welcome the decision, blah 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 blah, as if they were not part and parcel of it. But yeah, they need to call a media briefing and say things that are nice to your ears, such as this.
Act is congruent with the right to education, language, culture, the recognition and respect of linguistic and cultural communities, and diversity as entrenched in the Bill of Rights. We commend the bold steps taken by President Ramaphosa by signing this into law and for calling for its immediate implementation. The Department of Basic Education should therefore move swiftly to finalize norms and standards to guide governing bodies, SGPs, and provincial heads of department. Indeed, the doors of learning and culture shall be open to all as advocated by Freedom Charter. The Government of National Unity, Clearinghouse, engagement with other political parties on this very important matter has also been important and a really test of our coming together and notwithstanding our diversity and differences. The signing of this bill is a demonstration that we are in a government of national unity, but not a meltdown or a melting pot where we agree on everything. And it is an affirmation of the correctness of our position that we need to work together as a country, as political parties, irrespective of ideological background. Other people chose not to come to the party, to come to the government of national unity as a tactical intervention post the election. We congratulate all political parties who continue to work together in this government of national unity with the ANC as the largest political party in the government of national unity. The Basic Education Laws Amendment Act, the ANC welcomes the proclamation of the Basic Education Laws Amendment Act in its entirety. This marks a significant milestone in the ongoing transformation of South Africa's education system. This achievement follows years of rigorous consultations and reflects our unwavering commitment to ensuring equitable access to quality education for all South Africans, in line with the Freedom Charter. The full Bella Act heralds a new era of inclusivity, addressing historical inequalities and affirming the rights of all learners to quality education. Measures such as universal access to grade R, the elimination of corporal punishment, centralized admissions, and equitable language policies dismantle remnants of apartheid-era practices. This is a victory for constitutional values and vision of a united, non-racial, non-sexist South Africa. We are aware of the anti-transformation pushback by forces opposed to change, nostalgic of the apartheid-era past, majority rule and superiority of one language over the other. Failure to address this will be a betrayal of the generation of 1976, who rejected Afrikaans as a medium of instruction, thus relegating the majority to secondary citizenship, and lack of identity in their country of birth. We denounce baseless fear-mongering by those who oppose these progressive changes.
Okay, so yeah, let me look at what is left. But wow, I'm very interested. Very interesting one. Yeah. So yeah, from here we had Sadtu, Arise Mzansi, Good Party, ANC. Let me check this one. I've got another story that I need to share with you. This is different. Yes, I've got a story that I need to share with you. But yeah, I think we are almost done. We have shared a lot about the signing of the Bela Act. The long and short of everything here is the fact that people have signed the Bela Act. People are singing the praises of the Bela Act. All the political parties do agree to the Bela Act. Yeah, Bela Act. Yeah, that word. Kona loko ge. Yeah, so people are excited to hear that. Now, we need to move to the next story. But before I move to the next story, I need to give you some exciting news, right? Do you want to listen to Ramaphosa speaking about that? And that will be my last video. Take a look at Ramaphosa here.
My fellow South Africans, on the 13th of September this year, I signed into law the Basic Education Laws Amendment Act, now known as the Bela Act. This act is vital to the transformation of the education system in our country. The Act is an important part of ongoing efforts to build an education system that is more effective and more equitable in line with the precepts of our Constitution. The Bela Act continues the work that has been done over the last 30 years to ensure that all children have an equal access to quality education from their early years and throughout their schooling. As a democratic country committed to building a new society, we have stated unequivocally that all children must get an education that prepares them to succeed in life, no matter what the circumstances of their birth might be, no matter where they live, no matter what language they speak. In implementing this Bela Act, we are ultimately guided by the Constitution of South Africa. The Bill of Rights guarantees the right of every person to equality. It also guarantees the right of every person to receive a basic education. Importantly, the Constitution says that every person has the right to receive education in their official language or languages of their choice where reasonably practicable. This is a right that applies equally to an English speaker as it does to a Zulu speaker. It also applies equally to someone who speaks Afrikaans as it does to someone who speaks Xitsonga, Sesotho, Sepedi, isiXhosa, Setswana, Luvenda, isiNdebele, or isiSwati. And now it also applies equally to someone who uses the South African Sign Language. The Basic Education Laws Amendment Act enacts measures that strengthen the ability of our schools to give effect to these constitutional rights. In the application of this law, we must ensure that no language is diminished. Rather, we must work to ensure that all official languages are valued and promoted. At the time that I assented to the Bela Bill, I noted that a number of parties to the Government of National Unity and other key role players in our country had expressed their wish to further engage each other on sections of the bill that deal with issues of admission and language. I said that whilst I had assented to the bill, in the spirit of cooperation and meaningful engagement, I would delay the implementation date of the Bella Act in totality by 3 months. This would give the parties time to deliberate on these issues and make proposals on how the divergent views they hold might be accommodated. I also said, should the parties not agree on any approach at the end of the 3-month period, I would then direct the minister and the department to proceed with the implementation of the Act. Over the last 3 months, discussions have been held with a view of reaching consensus on these outstanding clauses of the Bella Act. Various formations outside of government have also made representations, both for and against the relevant sections. Last week, I received a report from the Government of National Unity Clearinghouse Mechanism. This is the structure which brings together the parties to the Government of National Unity and other parties represented in Parliament to deal with contentious issues and thereafter report to the leaders of the political parties that are represented in the Government of National Unity and also some in the Parliament. In their final report, the parties agreed that the Basic Education Law Amendments Act, Bella Act, should not be sent back to Parliament to make changes to the sections that were in contention. The Government of National Unity Clearinghouse participants agreed that the Act should be fully implemented. This view was endorsed by the leaders of the parties to the GNU in a meeting I held with them today. I accordingly advised them that I would proceed to sign a presidential proclamation to bring the Basic Education Law Amendment Act, the Bella Act, into operation from today. I have instructed the Minister of Basic Education to see to the full implementation of the Bella Act. I have also instructed the Minister to do what is necessary as customary with any law to ensure that the time frame of implementation, particularly with regard to the preparedness of the system for universal grade R access and the consequential regulations setting out the norms and standards, are prepared. All bodies and officials responsible for the implementation of this Act are required at all times to act in accordance with the Constitution of our country, the law, and the relevant policies and regulations. We must therefore do everything in our means to ensure that every child, without exception, has equal access to a decent, quality education. We must therefore leave no child behind. Let us ensure that our children get the best education so that they can take our beautiful country and our diverse nation forward to a prosperous future. Morena, boloka setjhaba sa heso. Nkosi sikelela i-Afrika. God seën Suid-Afrika. God bless South Africa. Hosi katekisa Afrika dzonga. Mudzimu va patuchedze Afrika Chipembe. I thank you all.